The sun had just begun to cast its golden rays over the watery maze of Makoko, the floating slum nestled on the Lagos Lagoon. Children paddled wooden canoes to school, women beat laundry against wooden boards, and the smell of fried plantains drifted from makeshift stalls. In a rickety wooden house built on stilts, a young girl sat by the window, brushing her thick, coily hair with slow, deliberate strokes. Her name was Amaka. At 17, Amaka was known not just for her striking beauty, almond-shaped eyes, skin the color of rich cocoa, and a smile that could light up the darkest alley, but also for her kindness. She had lived with her late father's sister, Mama Nkechi, since the age of 5 after her parents died in a car crash on the Third Mainland Bridge. Mama Nkechi was a fishmonger with a heart hardened by years of struggle. Though she provided food and shelter for Amaka, her affection was as scarce as electricity in Makoko during the rainy season. "Amaka," came a sharp voice from below. "You are brushing your hair as if you have a party to attend. Come and carry this basket and go to the market." Mama Nkechi scolded. Amaka sighed softly and dropped her brush. "I'm coming, Auntie," she replied, tying her scarf. As she climbed down the shaky wooden ladder with the heavy basket of smoked fish, she greeted the neighbors with polite nods. "Morning, Mama Aduni." "Ah, Amaka. Morning, my daughter. Are you going to the market?" "Yes, Ma. You look more like your mother every day." "God rest her soul," Mama Aduni said, touching her heart. Amaka smiled but said nothing. Praise like that often earned her a side-eye from Mama Nkechi. When she reached the market, the usual chaos surrounded her. Traders shouting, buyers bargaining, Okada men weaving through the crowd. She set up her fish stand near the corner. "Fresh smoked fish here. The best fish for a delicious soup." A young man in a crisp white shirt walked by, holding a camera. He paused, staring at her through the lens. "Are you going to buy something, or just keep taking pictures?" she asked playfully. He chuckled. "Sorry, I'm a photojournalist. My name is Tunde. You just have an interesting story in your eyes." Amaka raised an eyebrow. "My eyes sell fish, not stories." Tunde laughed. "Touché, but I'd still like to hear your story someday." She shook her head, but a smile tugged at her lips. "You should buy a fish first. Then maybe." The market began to swell with the late morning crowd. Hawkers sang the virtues of their goods while customers haggled, voices rising like a chaotic orchestra of Lagos life. Amaka wiped sweat from her brow and fanned herself with a piece of cardboard. Today stood a little way off, pretending to take photos of the scenery, but his lens often drifted back to her. "So you're taking pictures of fish that don't even move?" a nearby trader teased. Tunde laughed. "Maybe the fish is talking to me," he replied. Amaka gave him a side glance. "Will you buy or will you keep taking pictures till the market closes?" Tunde stepped forward and picked 2 medium-sized smoked catfish. "These ones, how much?" 3,000 naira, Amaka said flatly. "Wow, even for fish that aren't wearing designer scales?" Amaka burst out laughing before quickly catching herself. "Okay, 2.5, because you know how to joke." Tunde handed her the money and lingered. "I wasn't joking when I said I wanted to know your story." "Why?" she asked. "Are you planning to publish it in a newspaper?" "Maybe," he said, smiling. "Or maybe I just want to understand what makes your eyes look like they've cried more than they laugh." That struck something inside her. Her hand paused midair. "There are people with problems far worse than mine. But I'm managing," she said softly. Just then, Mama Nkechi arrived, storming through the crowd like a hurricane. "Amaka, what are you doing here laughing like an idiot?" "Auntie, I am selling fish now." "Selling fish or flirting with a man?" "Look at you, smiling like a goat." Tunde quickly took a step back. "Good afternoon, Ma." Mama Nkechi eyed him like he was a roach. "Are you still buying fish? If not, shift." Amaka lowered her gaze, cheeks burning. "He already bought fish." "Then tell him to leave." "Nonsense." Without another word, Tunde gave Amaka a tiny nod and turned away, disappearing into the crowd. Mama Nkechi hissed, "So you want to let your beauty destroy you, just like your mother did?" Amaka's eyes welled up, but she refused to let the tears fall. She bent to arrange the fish, her hands trembling slightly. That evening, as the sun sank below the skyline of Lagos and the waters of Makoko turned bronze, Amaka sat at the edge of the wooden deck behind their home. The water below reflected her face like a broken mirror. A small voice echoed from behind. "Are you going to cry?" It was Emmanuel, Mama Nkechi's youngest child, just 7, with wide eyes and a heart full of mischief. "No," Amaka said. "I'm just thinking." "I saw that boy with the camera," Emmanuel whispered. "He likes you." Amaka chuckled, ruffling his hair. "Go to bed, little boy." "I'm going, but if you marry him, make sure he buys me a bicycle." She laughed genuinely this time, the sound light and sad all at once. She stayed there until the stars came out, whispering to the moon things she couldn't say aloud. 2 weeks passed. Tunde kept returning to the market, each time buying just enough fish to earn a few minutes of Amaka's time. Their conversations grew longer, their laughter more frequent, their silences more meaningful. "You always come back," Amaka said one hot afternoon, wiping her brow. "I told you," Tunde replied, handing her a cold sachet of water. "Your story calls me." She took the water gratefully. "But I haven't told you anything yet." He leaned on the wooden pole next to her stand. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. She looked at him for a long moment. "You really want to know my story?" "Yes." She took a deep breath, her gaze drifting toward the horizon. "My parents died when I was 5. Car accident. I don't remember much, just flashes, my mother's laugh, my father's cologne. After that, I came to live with Mama Nkechi. She's my dad's sister. And she treats you like a stranger," Amaka shrugged. "Sometimes worse." Tunde's expression tightened. "Why?" "She says my mother was too proud, that she bewitched my father, took him away from the family, and now that she's gone, I'm the leftover reminder." "That's cruel," Amaka's voice dropped. "It is, but I'm grateful she took me in, even if she reminds me every day." Tunde was quiet, his jaw clenched. "What do you want, Amaka, in life?" Her eyes sparkled, but her voice was soft. "I want to be free, to live somewhere where the air doesn't feel heavy. Maybe go to school, learn, work, laugh without guilt." Tunde stared at her like he was memorizing her. "I think you were born for more than Makoko," he said. "I think we all are," she replied. "Some of us just forget." That evening, Amaka returned home late. Mama Nkechi was already boiling yam in the small smoky kitchen. "Where did you go?" Her voice like a whip. "I stayed to help Mama Aduni pack her things. She hurt her leg." Mama Nkechi narrowed her eyes. "So you're not going to admit you're still seeing that boy?" Amaka's stomach tightened. "I wasn't with him today." "You are lying. You're turning into your mother more and more each day. Auntie, please." Before she could finish, Mama Nkechi slapped her. Hard. "If I ever see you close to that boy again, you will leave my house." Amaka didn't cry out. She sat quiet, tears in her eyes and one hand on her left cheek. That night she sat on her bed, the thin mat pressing into her back. She reached under the wooden board and pulled out a small torn exercise book. Inside were sketches, drawings of dresses, shoes, fabric patterns, designs she imagined while watching women walk by in the market. Beneath the final page she had written, "Amaka fashions, one day." The next morning, as Tunde approached her stand, he noticed the swelling on her cheek. "What happened?" he asked, concerned. Amaka lowered her head. "She found out we talk." Tunde's fist clenched. "That woman, it's okay. I'll be fine." "No," he said firmly. "Listen, my friend works with a small NGO that supports girls in disadvantaged areas. They offer scholarships, training programs." Amaka looked up. "I can't take charity." "It's not charity. It's your future." She hesitated. "What if Auntie refuses?" "Then you find the courage to choose yourself." That night, Amaka tossed and turned. Her mind played out the conversation with Tunde again and again. You find the courage to choose yourself. But how? In Makoko, obedience was survival. Defiance? That was dangerous. The following morning she rose before dawn. With slow, steady hands she folded her drawings and tucked them into a plastic wrap. Then she packed her few clothes into a nylon bag and left them hidden behind Mama Aduni's shed. That afternoon she confronted Mama Nkechi. "Auntie, I've been offered a scholarship, It's for tailoring classes and education. Mama Nkechi barely looked up from her cutting board. And who offered you a scholarship? Tunde connected me. It's an NGO. Mama Nkechi stood sharply. So it's that boy again. You are still seeing him? Amaka kept her voice calm. He just showed me an opportunity. I want to take it. You want to disgrace me? After everything I went through just to feed you? I didn't ask to be fed like a prisoner. Slap. This one was harder than before. Her lips split. You're not going anywhere. If you step outside this house, you should forget you have an auntie. Amaka didn't flinch. Then I will forget. Mama Nkechi's mouth opened, stunned. I love you, auntie, even if you don't love me. But I won't waste my life in fear. Amaka stepped out, bag in hand. Her legs trembled. The air felt heavier than ever. But it was also full of something new. Possibility. Tunde met her by the water's edge. You're really doing this? He asked, hopeful. She nodded. They boarded a kiki that weaved through the early traffic of Yaba, then Ojue-Legba. The noise, the blaring horns, the smell of roasted corn. It all felt sharper now, like she was seeing Lagos for the first time. The NGO's building was modest but welcoming. Inside were other young girls, most of them around her age. Some were loud and confident, others shy and uncertain. The coordinator, Auntie Remy, took Amaka's hand. You're safe here, my dear. Your journey is just beginning. Tears welled in Amaka's eyes, not from sadness, but relief. Weeks turned into months. Amaka woke early each day. She learned how to operate sewing machines, cut patterns, and understand fabric textures. She attended evening classes for maths and English. Her sketches came alive, slowly, then beautifully. Tunde would visit sometimes, always bringing suya or gala, and sitting with her outside by a nearby phone kiosk in front of the NGO building. One day, as he handed her a sketchbook, he said, You've changed, you know. She smiled. How? You walk like you own your name now. They sat in comfortable silence, the air warm around them. You never told me your story, she said. He chuckled. Maybe one day, but right now, I want to help tell yours. 1 year later, Amaka Fashions was a name on lips across parts of Lagos. The NGO helped showcase her work in a youth exhibition where her designs, bright Ankara prints mixed with modern cuts, blew everyone away. A local radio host interviewed her. From the slums of Makoko to Lagos Fashion Week, what inspired you? Amaka's voice was steady. Pain and hope. I knew that beauty could grow from broken places. I just needed someone to water the soil. And what would you say to other girls like you? She looked into the camera. Don't wait for the world to give you permission to be great. Choose yourself, even when it hurts. The sky above Makoko was overcast when Amaka returned 2 years later. She stepped out of a black Benz, now dressed in a flowing Ankara kimono she designed herself. Simple gold earrings catching the sunlight. Children playing froze, recognizing her face from flyers and posters. Is that Amakat? Wow, she has turned into a big woman. Fine girl, is this how God works? She smiled and waved. An elderly lady hobbled out, leaning on a cane. My daughter, you came back. Amaka embraced her tightly. I never forget where I come from. Together, they walked to Mama Nkechi's shack. Inside, Mama Nkechi sat alone, staring at a flickering TV. She had aged. Her eyes were dimmer, her voice lower. Amaka stood at the entrance. Good afternoon, Auntie. Mama Nkechi looked up slowly. You came. I had to. They stared at each other in silence. And then, I heard you now make clothes, Mama Nkechi murmured. Big name. I am trying. God has been kind. Another pause. I was too harsh with you, Mama Nkechi said. I didn't know how to raise another person's child, especially one so much like her mother. Amaka stepped forward, her voice gentle. I forgave you long ago. Even when you couldn't love me, I chose not to hate you. Tears welled in Mama Nkechi's eyes. She looked away. I didn't know how to love you. You still can, Amaka whispered. It's not too late. Mama Nkechi broke down. Months passed. Amaka partnered with the NGO to open a training center right in Makoko, a place where girls could learn tailoring, literacy, and entrepreneurship. She called it Amaka's Hands Where Beauty Begins. Each girl received a welcome kit with fabric, thread, and a notebook. Tunde stood beside her at the ribbon cutting, his smile proud. "You did it," he said. "We did it," she replied. "You believed in me when I didn't even believe in myself." He took her hand. "And I always will." On a humid Thursday evening, Amaka addressed a crowd during a community event. "I was once just another girl with nothing but pain and paper dreams. But Lagos, this city of struggle and spirit, taught me that no story is too small to matter." The crowd cheered. She continued, her voice warm and certain. "You may come from brokenness, but you are not broken. Choose yourself every day, even when it's hard, even when no one claps. Your story matters. You matter." As the sun dipped behind the skyline and the lagoon shimmered gold, Amaka looked out at the crowd, at the young girls in secondhand sandals, the mothers, the traders, the dreamers, and she smiled, because she had become the story. Moral of the story: no matter where you come from, your beginning does not define your end. When you choose yourself and stay kind through the struggle, you unlock the strength to rewrite your story and inspire others to rise with you.